Hey, lovers of the world, it's Hard Being Human, featured by Postpirations. I'm Devyn. This is Karlie and Nadine.
Hi.
And check us out on our YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Postpirations. Also, check out our Patreon page. It's Hard Being Human. If you like what we're doing, please help us. And I just want to thank everybody for supporting us through our sound issues. You guys have been the realest fans of all, and our community, our tribe. We thank you so much for being patient with us and our learning experience through all of this. Hopefully you'll see that we're getting better and better each time, and we just thank you for all of your support and love to move forward. And tonight's episode is about online dating versus in the wild. So who wants to begin? Who has a lot to say on all? I feel like all of us kind of.
I feel like Devyn, you have a lot to say.
I could tell some stories. It might be a couple hours this podcast episode, but well, I definitely did some research over the past couple of weeks about online dating versus in the wild, and I found that 53% of people ages 30 and under are actually online dating. Do you guys feel like that? I feel like it would have been more for some reason.
Yeah,
That's accurate.
You feel so?
I feel like
Yeah.
I think I'm shocked because I feel like since the pandemic too, a lot of people have turned towards online dating. I know personally for me, I did have some apps, but I think like since December I've like cut them all off because
Sorry, apps plural.
Yeah, you gotta have the top three.
There's Bumble. I never
Hinge,
had Tinder. I never had Tinder. I only did Bumble and Hinge. I would go back and forth, back and forth.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you feel like you have a favorite app? I feel like I have a favorite app.
I didn't. No, there would be some times where I was like, I felt like Bumble was really giving me like some goodies. And then sometimes I was like, I'm getting nothing. And then Hinge would give some good ones. But it would go back and forth. I can't say that I had a favorite.
Okay, so when you say goodies, like I feel like all of these guys have access to the same apps.
Yeah, but I feel like the algorithm is weird, and like sometimes the people that they show you as options, I'm like, this is not my type. And that's another reason why I got rid of the apps, is because I think I'm a big like personality girl, and apps really focus on your looks. And so then obviously that's what I'm going off of, because I can't know their personality. And then, if they're good looking, but then they're boring. And like for me, like I want you to be funny. I need you to have a cool ass personality. I'd rather that over like you being like a 10, I don't know.
So would you prefer like an app that had a little bit more substance, like a blind chat room, both parties, that person speaks to you for like 15 seconds or whatever, the shortest interview ever, but like you guys kind of it's more or less like an intimate thing as opposed to like them just liking your photo, because I feel like any idiot can like your photo in any state of mind.
Yeah.
Well, and I try to listen to a podcast that these guys, I won't even give them credit.
Devyn, hold on. We have to trademark that. If I say trademark verbally, no one can steal my idea, right?
What was your idea?
I just said it.
Online dating app.
I'm gonna put it together, but I just want to.
First of all, that's on Ted Lasso. That's not. that's already happened. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but
no, mine is gonna be mine is gonna be excellent. His is probably okay. Mine's gonna be excellent. I'm thinking of all of the quirks, and then I'm gonna put it all together. But like from the beginning, I want to just say trademark so no one steals it.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. You just say trademark.
I think that is how it works.
Okay, I just want to be clear.
Okay, well, I don't remember what I was saying, but
we're listening to a podcast
that these guys made, and I wanted to throw up in my mouth because I was listening. Obviously, I'm a woman, so I gear towards like the women podcast and female podcast, and I was just like, well, let me hear what the fellas have to say about this, and I was cringing inside. The guy was giving advice on like how to date younger women and how to date a woman,
how to groom a woman.
Yeah, exactly. And he was talking about how to find your 8. Like you don't want to date below an 8. And it was just like, and you could tell this guy was definitely older. Like on the picture, he had like a cigar in his mouth, and he definitely had some grays poking out. I'm like, why are you talking about?
Is it your dad? No, I'm kidding.
If I saw my dad on a dating app, I would not be happy. um, but yeah, it was.
We'd have deeper issues.
But it was really interesting to hear like the, what women are looking for and how we're like paying attention to every little detail. We won't. And he was saying also though that there are more men on dating apps than women. So we're actually, our inbox is like just constantly flowing. It's overwhelming to us, but for them, they don't. I guess not as many women are actually on dating apps. So their experience is a lot different than our experience. Wish we had a fellow on here to kind of give his insight, but
So I will say too, someone had told me, I can't remember how he worded it, but it was like the top 10% of women, like top like 10, will go for like the top 10% of men or something, but like all men will go. I can't remember how it was, but
It
pretty
is.
much like
It's very shallow. Like my
men swipe more on women than women I think swipe on men. So men will just be like, who can I like hook,
yeah.
you know? And I will say, like, I have a friend who she would go back and forth on the dating apps. This was a while ago. And she would get very overwhelmed because she would like go on and swipe a little or whatever. But then when she would see everyone that swiped on her, or like, on Hinge where you have to go through, she would get so like overwhelmed by it because she's like, oh my God, I have like 60 people that I need to swipe through. Or like then when they would message her and she'd be like, it's just so many to
only
message.
60. I mean, sorry.
Oh wow.
Go ahead.
I mean,
I mean,
but
okay.
but for me, I just felt like the reason why I got rid of the dating apps is because I felt like the dating apps didn't do it. I put this own pressure on myself of like, oh my God, like I met someone on a dating app. What is this going, like I need to know immediately how I feel about this person. And I put like this high pressure on that person, on the connection we have. And I felt like because I put such a high pressure, it led to a higher disappointment rate because I had this whole scenario in my head already, and then I meet them and I'm let down because they're not living up to this idea that I put on them that's not even fair.
Yeah.
So,
and I almost think that's more of like, that's your intention. You were going in it with the intention to find your one. And that's almost like, I feel like you should have been on like eHarmony or Match.com where like people are
but like,
paying for that.
Or Wardley.match. It's gonna work smoothly. I'm picking, like, I'm figuring out the name, but
Okay,
yeah.
I need you to focus. Okay.
but
I'm writing
like,
down like ideas. That's why I grabbed my pad. Go ahead.
so the thing is, when I would, and I know what you're saying because like I come off with that mentality, but I didn't want that mentality. I didn't want to go into it finding the one. I wanted it to be like a casual, let's see where it goes and see if it turns into something. And I realized that's why I think I am better with like in-person interactions because I don't feel that pressure. It's just like, oh, I met you, you're cool. Like, let's see if we vibe. Maybe we're gonna hang out again. But I don't feel that pressure of like, I need to know if there's something between us because I need to let you know, or you need to let me know if we see this going somewhere. And yeah.
But don't you feel like you put that pressure on somebody once you've met them and realize, oh, I like this person? Then do you also feel like you kind of have to talk yourself into like, okay, slow down, play it cool. Like I like them, but
Yeah, but I think it's easier to do that if I didn't meet them on a dating app
okay.
because I feel like if I meet them on a dating app, my immediate thought is, well, we met on a dating app, so they clearly have some type of intentions. So I need to make sure that I'm super transparent and communicative of how I'm feeling because I don't want it to. I mean, obviously, like, too, one of my past situations was that person was like ready for a relationship and I was just like that is not where I'm at. And and so I felt like I was like extra communicative and extra like transparent of where I was and I was just like, listen, I do not see like even the possibility of a relationship for like a while.
Yeah.
And then obviously it was nothing, but that was also because clearly there was not a connection for me.
Yeah. and that's fine. And because I think I don't know, I think there's pros and cons to both. I don't know if I like in the wild in this season of life, where I'm not really going out and I'm not really in groups of people. I feel like it's a little bit harder for me to meet people. So I think I do enjoy the dating app. Obviously, you just don't feel a connection with everyone. You try to have conversation with people and on the app, and you can find out fairly quickly if that person's going to be able to hold your attention. Um, but
I feel more confident shooting my shot by myself than if I were with a group of friends.
oh,
I feel like
always.
if I were with, yeah, I feel like if I were with a group of friends, I'd feel like super like, oh my god, like you guys are watching
Don't look
me, and
at me.
like yeah, and I know I had talked to my therapist about it when I told her like I didn't want to be on the dating apps anymore. And so we had talked about like me going like taking myself out to dinner to like a spot that like a sports bar or something and sitting at the bar and like having like being like approachable and seeing like how that led. I did that once, but
I do like that because you're setting yourself up for a habit. Like, because a lot of times, like you were saying, people get like this, they put so much pressure on this first date. It's because they haven't gone out on a date or is one-on-one interaction in such a long time. They're used to going out with their friends, they go out with their family, whatever. But if you don't make it a habit to like, okay, Friday night, this is my date night. And whether you're going on a date with a guy or if you're going on a date with yourself, I think it's a good thing to set up and get in your mind, like, so that way you're in that groove of like, okay, that's just normal. Like, I'm gonna, because you have to make space for dating too. If you end up meeting someone you like, you want to make sure that your life isn't already so full that you haven't structured that time and like created a habit of doing that too.
yeah.
Nadine, do you like online dating or do you prefer the in the in the
I'm
wild?
just I'm listening to all of this. I mean, I have so much to say. I'm just letting you guys go back and forth. I'm being polite today. Just taking it all in. I have a lot to say. Karlie mentioned that she likes like to go to like a random bar. Would you like a bar type of guy? But you don't even drink. So why
But
would you
no,
go in that
I'm
thing
not
and
a bar. I said a sports bar, like an Applebee's or like right or like
okay.
Carly's just hanging out at the local
or like
Well,
Applebee's.
all right. So let's explore that.
or like
So
or like
no, no,
World of
let's
Beer,
like let's no, no, no,
like a
let's no, let's
food
explore
spot.
Applebee's. Let's explore Applebee's. So you okay. What's
She's
expecting?
younger than us, Nadine,
No,
remember.
no, no, that's okay. That's okay. Let's explore it. Okay. Um, Karlie would like to go to Applebee's and meet someone. Okay. And she goes and she gets dressed up and she sits at the bar at Applebee's, an ill lit institution. Like, I mean, I've been to Applebee's. like,
Like, okay, World of Beer. I like going to World of
Oh
Beer.
my god.
so in essence, like, you want to go to all these places where alcohol is served, yet you don't drink.
Yeah, I'm not like against people that drink. I'm not like
See, that was the problem for me because I didn't like going into bar atmospheres and meeting a guy because we're gonna eventually fight because I don't want to go to the bar. If that's where you hang out, you and I are not gonna get along. I'm not gonna want to hang
well,
out.
I don't want to go to like a dive bar or like a bar that only drinks alcohol or only serves alcohol and there's no food being served. Yeah, I'm not gonna go there and
No, but let
fucking
me ask you because, like, oftentimes we go to where, like, the norm is, right? So, like, you're going to these bars where, beer is alcohol. However anyone perceives it is alcohol. So, we're going to these bars, right? And we want to find our forever guys. But these forever guys are in a setting where they're chemically induced. So, they're not really the full version of themselves. So, why don't we get dressed up and go to an actual restaurant that we like? Something on the menu, and we sit.
Applebee's.
No, I mean Applebee's threw me back, but it is what it is.
No, I agree with you. I think what I was getting at is like going to a restaurant that has a bar because if I were to go to a restaurant that I'm sitting at the table, I'm not as approachable because they don't know if I'm
You're
waiting for
very
someone.
approachable. You're very approachable to a sophisticated guy because if he sees that you're sitting there for 10 to 15 minutes alone and you're eating, he is going to approach you respectfully and be like, "Hey," but like he's going to approach you respectfully, hands down. If he finds you attractive, he's going to approach you in a respectful manner. A bar, I feel like, is going against what we're like we're trying to
But
push
I
away.
think when I say bar, I think you're thinking of it like so literally of like bar. Like I'm talking about like like there could
Like,
be a nice restaurant like that has, like a bar around it, like even a sushi bar, or like that's what I'm thinking of if like the seating is more open. I mean, you can shake your head, but this is my opinion on it, my perspective. Like I
So you're
think
talking about a sushi bar.
if that'll make you feel that I'm talking about just like an open, like a seating, like an open area, whereas like if
Tap
I'm sitting
42.
at
Do you have any Tap 42s down there, or Sparkman Wharf, or
yeah, like Sparkman Wharf, like I feel like if you were to, if I'm gonna sit at a table, there might be one guy that has the courage to approach me at a table,
But you
but I
don't
feel,
want 10 guys approaching you. You want
how do you
one
know?
guy. No, you don't want 10 guys. You don't want
How do you know that?
no, you don't want 10 fuckboys. You want one forever guy. You don't want 10 fuckboys. Every guy there is gonna shoot his shot. You look pretty. Okay, like let's shoot our shot. She looks attainable. You don't want to look attainable. You want to look difficult. So you want to look difficult for that guy that has the courage to walk up.
I want you to work for it, baby.
Because he knows that like him walking up to you means that he's gonna have to take over that bill. That's the guy that you want.
Really? Wow, okay.
Nadine, for one of my birthdays, it was a couple years ago. I was with another friend, and Nadine shows up, and there's a guy that was sitting next to us, and Nadine starts a conversation with him. He worked for BlackBerry. Like,
I forgot.
who has a BlackBerry? We didn't even know BlackBerry still exists. And this guy was
Yeah.
going on and on and on. Nadine sat there, and Nadine was just entertaining him and smiling away. And that man ended up paying for all three of our bills by the end of the night.
And never got a phone call in return.
I guess I don't have that type of magic.
Yes,
because
you do.
I would never.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Just not at Applebee's. Yes, you do.
Because you're meeting husbands.
You're meeting subpar guys at Applebee's, like guys that are like.
I just threw Applebee's out there. Gosh,
No,
I haven't been to Applebee's in a minute.
I'm so sorry. I have to hold on to it because I used to go to Applebee's. I enjoy their pasta. Like don't get me wrong,
their margaritas.
But I feel like Applebee's, you walk in there, it's ill lit because it's dirty. And this is the first time I noticed it, okay? Don't get me wrong, Karlie. Like before I used to love it, okay? You walk in there, it's ill lit because it's dirty. They don't want you to see the germs, right? Okay? Then the guys are in there. The music is like too loud for you to hear. Like it's just too much. It's too much. But if you go on like an Atlantic Ave, or I don't know what you guys have down there as far as sophistication. You go on those like strips, you get blue martini. You get different guys to approach you, and they will approach you, and they will approach you with the mindset of like, listen, if I'm approaching this girl, she's sitting over there, she's glowing, I better be ready to pay that entire like tab because I know I want
her $4 bill for her club
Remember
soda.
Devyn? Jackson's? Jackson's where you go if you want some. You want a real man.
My guy, I feel like my guy, even though he'll never admit it, I feel like my guy took me to like a 5-star restaurant in Fort Lauderdale and paid for seating, even though we were probably 30 minutes or an hour late for our reservation. He paid for seating.
What? I don't understand. What does that mean? What's paid?
That means that if they want you, I promise you, they will empty their bank accounts for you for that first date, and or that like exclusive meeting, like where they see that.
I feel like I'm not like. No, I feel like you're like high maintenance.
I'm not high maintenance. I'm not.
And I'm not. I feel like I'm very cash. Like I am like a cash girl. Like.
Well, and that's the fun part about like online dating versus in the wild. Like when you're in the wild, people can see, you're very transparent in the wild. You get what you get in person. And I think that's what's in the wild is always special to me. I have some of my favorite stories because we met in the wild. I think Karlie was there for the one night. I call him the artist. He'll hate that I called him that. But the one night we went to a lightning game, remember, a watch party or something, and I made eyes at him. And later in the night, we never said anything to each other. I was just super excited that I like smiled at a guy and I felt like I was flirting. And then later that night, we ended up bumping into each other in Ybor and then spent the rest of the night together. And I mean, he's still my friend till this day. And that was just so like, that was in the wild. That was not like the unexpected, that's like just, how the best memories are created when it's unexpected and it just happens. Um, but I also have really good experiences from online dating and people that I know still. So, I mean, I think it's just what you go in with the intention of like, even if you're at Applebee's, you could still get a 10.
No, you can't. No, you're going to get a 5, okay, at Applebee's because that's what he can afford. Okay, let's start there. Okay.
He might maybe he knows the bartender. Maybe he came to support the bartender.
Or maybe he likes the vibe of Applebee's, but he drives a Porsche.
Nobody at
And maybe he's low maintenance and he lives a humble life.
That is a lie.
But he works for
a lie. That is a
Blackberry or
nope.
Blueberry.
So another online dating experience that Nadine, you'll appreciate this one. So I matched with this guy many years ago, and I was so scared to meet him in person because he was literally like 7 feet tall. I am 5'1". What do I have business talking to anyone who is 7 feet tall?
You're gonna procreate beautiful athletes.
Let's not
I was scared to be intimate with him. I felt like
you don't need to be intimate. Ugh, that's neither here nor there. Go ahead.
So I never actually met him because I was so scared of meeting him in person. Well, one day my mom and I, it was happened to be a Super Bowl Sunday. We're at Walmart getting our snacks. It's Walmart. And we're walking, and then all of a sudden I go, Mom, that's the guy I swiped on, the dating app. And she's like, go talk to him. I was like, what? I was like, no, I've been scared to talk to him. I've been scared to like meet with him. He's just so tall and big dude. I wish I could show you. Huge. I had no business. But eventually my mom got to me and she made me go over and talk to him. And he knew exactly who I was. And we started chit-chatting. And I would have never have known this man was walking around a Walmart in the nasty ass produce section at Walmart. And this man had money. He picked me up on our first date at one of the nicest dates I felt so like a badass bitch. He pulled up in a Maserati to take me out on our first date, got out of the car, opened the door. And this was just a guy at Walmart.
This is false.
And do you also meet a Bucks player at Walmart when you were grocery shopping once?
Oh, yeah.
No.
He was probably on the bench, but he was a little fuckboy. But still, I looked him up and it was real.
No, lies. If he's at Walmart, he's picking up. No. You're not going to. No. You're not going to be driving.
It was Super Bowl Sunday. He's just picking up some snacks. It's close to his house.
Anyone that drives a Maserati, like respectfully drives a Maserati, because there's just like a person that doesn't respectfully. Matter of fact, Maserati is not even the creme de la creme. Like, let's start there. But it used to be my favorite car, but it's not.
She's not high maintenance.
Like, let's be honest.
Not at all.
It's not.
Well, I felt like a bad bitch in the Maserati. It was so big on the inside. I was starstruck for sure. And I had the nicest day ever. We went to this little speakeasy, had to give like a little pretend code for us to get in. Our table had like a curtain and pillows, and it was the best experience I ever had. And it came from because I talked to this guy at Walmart.
First of all, you didn't talk to a guy at Walmart. You talked to a guy online. That's number one.
But it was kind of a beautiful mixture of both, because I technically initially knew of him because of the dating app, but then I got to meet him out in the wild. So it's kind of almost like this combination of like, magic.
And like, I'm going to shop at Publix or Walmart.
Yeah, I'm not going to shop at Walmart.
You barely leave your house, so I'm surprised you even have a boyfriend.
I pull up, exactly, okay? I pull up at Walmart and they put my groceries in the trunk, okay? That just shows you how much I don't want to go inside of Walmart, okay? Not because I'm stuck up, it's because it's overwhelming. Walmart is an overwhelming experience. There's just too much going on all the time. There's so many people all the time. Nobody that works at Walmart ever wants to work, okay? They send you down wrong aisles, okay? They tell you something's at this aisle when it's really at that aisle, or they just ignore you, okay?
What is it?
I don't want to go to Walmart. I want to go to Publix. You want to know why? Publix, they care about you. They care about your experience, okay? So if I meet a guy at Publix, I'm going to know that he cares about experiences, okay? And I'm going to give him a chance, okay? Because at Walmart, anyone that I meet at Walmart is lost, just like me.
Well, I feel like people subtract, attract like people. So I think that all of you guys are just having an anxiety attack, and you guys are probably all going to the same little area and not knowing what to do. I was at
I love
Walmart.
that.
I don't love Walmart.
I don't
They
like
they
Walmart
definitely
either.
won't
I
be
will go to
sponsoring our
Target.
show. But that's a real example of what happened. I met him at Walmart. I would have never. I didn't know what car he drove. All I could see was he was grabbing some snacks. He invited me to a Super Bowl party. I didn't go, but then a couple days later, he was
Let
very.
me ask you this: the snacks that he was grabbing, were they produce?
I don't know, but this is just I don't know. I
I
honestly, that was over
I-
5 years ago. So at this point,
okay,
I don't know.
like chips, right?
I don't know.
So maybe he doesn't care about his friend's well-being as far as health, but he
No, he
wanted
was
to.
in shape. He was in shape.
But he doesn't care about his friends.
I don't know, Nadine. Let's get
Okay.
back. So Nadine is online dating, and so she has a success story with online dating.
We don't know if it's a success yet. We don't know. He's still on his 90 days probation. I texted him
You will.
earlier.
This girl needs to just toss your let it be. You have
No.
accepted this. Yes.
No.
Tell us your success story.
I have no success story. He's on
Karlie,
administrative leave.
she's getting her period in a couple days, so we have to be mindful.
No. One has nothing to do with the other.
Yes, it clearly does.
The whole rant about Walmart just now.
Yeah.
We're talking
Tell me
about
you're getting
online
your
dating.
period
Can we
without telling
come
me
on?
you're
Get
getting your
focused.
period.
Online dating. We're talking about online dating. I want to hear your experiences. Share
I
your story.
dated online. Okay. I'll tell you my guy experience. I won't share his name because we're not there yet. Okay. It was great. Like I said, I tried it in January. It was successful at the time. We went on a first date. It was great. Went on a second date. It was magical. And since then, like we've been like together. Okay.
In a relationship.
I am in a relationship.
They had the conversation.
I had the
It's
conversation.
official.
Yeah. Do I break up with him every other day? Absolutely. Do we make up? Yes. But it's a day by day. Right now he's on administrative leave without pay. And it just is what it is. But like I did have a good experience. I've had bad experiences with online dating, and I've had bad experiences with, like one on one, like meeting the person in the wild. I prefer, as I told Devyn before in the past, I wanted to meet somebody at the mailbox because I feel like online dating is just too much. Like I'm gonna meet you, you're gonna want to like, what if you're a killer? Like my mind goes to killing places, and it's how I think, and it can happen. People kill people now for no reason.
Well,
I've gone on
for
so
me,
many online dates, and I have yet to be murdered. So
well,
I
here's the
would
thing:
be
is you
murdered.
have to set boundaries. So, like when I was online dating, the first date has to be out in a public setting. You're not coming to my house. I'm not going to your house. We're not Netflix and chilling on the first date. Like it needs to be out somewhere so that you can't do something to me. Like there's there's people around. So yeah.
Well, yeah, that was always my fear. So, like, Devyn had to con me, literally, and beg me to go back on said dating apps. Okay, and
I told her she
actually,
couldn't come and visit me unless she went on a dating app.
yes, because I like to meet people organically. Like I want
You
to be
don't
courted.
leave your house. So unless the
It
UPS
doesn't matter.
man or the Amazon truck driver,
It
you're
doesn't
sold
matter.
to.
I feel like if it was God's plan, I would meet someone.
It wasn't God's plan. It was Hinge's plan.
I went on Hinge, yes, and I was looking for a regular guy, and I'll tell the story. And I went down his profile or whatever, and he seemed regular, and I was excitable, and I was like, okay, he's regular. He's not gonna hurt
He
my feelings.
Nadine's regular.
He's not okay, Applebee's girl, please. So he's not gonna hurt my feelings. He's not gonna do anything or whatever. He's regular, okay, which means he'll make it home for dinner every night. He's not gonna give me any problems, right? So, and he even like he's still in his feelings about this. When I finally liked him, I think 10 or 15 days later, I matched with him or whatever on Hinge, and then he was just like, "Hey, I'm not on Hinge all the time or whatever. Do you want to give me your Instagram profile?" I didn't even respond with a friendly, soft note. I just sent him my username. I don't want to engage. You wanna know why? Because I didn't know if he was the real deal. I didn't care to add extra words. Okay. So I gave him my username, and he like sent me a friend request. I'm just like, why do you have a check mark? And then I called Devyn immediately, and I said I was lied to because I didn't know you had that professional background. Had I known you had that background, I wouldn't have dated you because I was going after the regular guy, the regular 9 to 5 guy.
Poor Nadine.
All that, Karlie.
Oh,
Well,
sad.
and now
She
honestly,
got
people
more
can.
than she bargained for.
Keep it up.
What a shame.
I hope you get salmonella the next time you go to Applebee's.
Well,
I'm glad.
And you will. You want to know why? Because it's so dark in there, they can't see.
You can't see
they
the
won't know
summer.
they
And they can't see how they're preparing your food. Anyway.
Funny, my birthday dinner's actually at Applebee's, so you'll be there too, bitch. No, it's not.
I was about to say, I am not wearing the dress that I picked out to Applebee's.
I'm going to respectfully decline. Wait, hold a minute.
My booty is poking, and I don't want Applebee's contender.
Okay. It says, okay.
Does it say where dinner is?
It says new friendship place. I don't know what that means. Like if I drive up and there's a sign and it says Applebee's, I'm not even gonna respectfully tell you I'm outside. I'm gonna take it as my sign to drive off.
Skirt.
Yeah.
Well, I have to vouch for Applebee's, and just in case they ever want to sponsor us,
I don't want sponsorship. I don't.
The one on Fletcher, or is it Fowler?
It's horrible.
Fowler.
It's on Failure. It's on Failure Drive.
After 10 p.m., it would become Club Applebee's, and Club Applebee's had a DJ. It was fun. Maybe it wasn't the most attractive people. And maybe they were a little older. So if you want like a 55-year-old man and up, it's great.
I would like to pause there. They're older people, older men flexing at Applebee's. What are they flexing about? Walk me through. Is it the 2-for-1?
Those are regular guys, the regular Joes who just want to go grab a drink and
my type of dude. Go to Applebee's,
I would love to experiment if Nadine, me, and Karlie all went to an Applebee's, 3 different locations, and to see what type of experience we each
I
have.
would have such a good time. Such a good time. I'd be like, hell yeah, half off apps, keep them coming. I'd make friends with the waitress, waiter.
I would have hundreds of dollars worth of food.
Like a napkin in her purse, like, this table's dirty.
We'll bring wet wipes for Nadine.
Okay, first and foremost, I would not be at Applebee's. Okay, that was the old me. Okay, that was a 20-year-old me, not the 30-year. I care about my stomach. Okay, I'm not going to an Applebee's. You guys can go. I'll go somewhere else, and I'll have a similar.
This is the same chick that eats McDonald's every other morning. Don't listen to her.
First and foremost, McDonald's is McDonald's. That is a hallmark, okay, of America. It's
killing America.
McDonald's. It doesn't matter if it kills us. It's where we started. It's the bedrock, okay, of America.
I have to move out of America.
We're moving on. Okay.
So back to our topic.
Back to so I will say my ex I met out in the wild. It was like a friend's house. Does that count as in the wild? It wasn't an app.
Yep.
Clearly we know how that turned out. Ex.
The best and worst experience of your life.
Literally. But then so then I didn't really have like success with dating apps. I feel like I would go on dates and just like nothing really. And then I shot my shot at someone in my neighborhood. And we went out on like a date, but
don't poop where you live, guys. Don't poop where you live or where.
No. He didn't live there. He was doing business. You know who I'm talking about. Car detail.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing business, but I don't talk to him anymore. But I would just like to say,
did he wash your car?
He washed my car
for free.
No, I paid him, but he spent 4 hours doing it, and it looked good.
She created an opportunity. I love it.
Yeah. Shot my shot. Anyway,
That's not
Nadine,
a shot that you shot. You paid for the shot. That's not a shot.
I got dinner.
You
I'm
paid.
not gonna
You
I'm not gonna
prepaid.
jip this man
No,
out of his
you're not jipping.
business because I think he's cute.
Carlie,
I don't think
hey,
he should do a
hey,
free service
where's my
for me.
gavel? Where's my gavel? Back in the
That's
day,
cheap,
no,
Nadine.
no,
That's
no, no, no,
cheap.
that's not, no, please, okay, ask Devyn. Back in the day, granted we weren't born. Back in the day, they used to give cattle for us. They used to give everything for us. Okay, I'm not playing. No, I'm not playing these crackhead games at the age of 33. Okay, they used
Well,
to.
I'm not
No,
there yet, so
they
She hasn't
I
used
hit
to
still
30.
walk
She
want
to.
doesn't
to.
know.
They used to walk to our parents' house in the dirt in the
Oh
desert.
my god, you
No,
sound like my
and it's
Grandma.
true. Okay, and
yeah,
they
like
used to. And
because
they used
that's how it was back in the day. That's how it's supposed to be
to.
now.
In
No,
a
we
Okay,
sense, I do
evolved.
listen to Nadine. I do. If we can turn it into modern day scenario, I agree with what Nadine's saying. So Nadine, go ahead.
back in the day, they used to do so much to court us. They used to know that having us is a privilege, not a right, right? So it's like they used to be like, okay, that's the prettiest girl in town or the prettiest girl in the street or whatever. I want her, which means I'm willing to flex. I'm willing to give my fattest sheep. I'm willing to do whatever the hell it takes for me to prove to her dad that I'm going to give her the best possible
Life.
life that she can
I
imagine.
agree with
All
courting,
the
but
money
I don't agree with you that he should have given me his services for free
he should
because
give you his service for
no.
free. Yes, he should.
Absolutely not. No,
Yes,
because
he
then I
will.
feel like that's me like a gold digger.
No,
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 like,
no.
oh, I'm hitting on
I'm
no.
sorry, Karlie. Do men give birth or do women give birth? I'm just asking for a friend.
I wanted to say
No, no,
something
no.
clever, but I couldn't.
I'm
Come on,
just
Carlie.
asking.
Come
So
on,
I
Carlie.
just wait.
I'm just asking. Go ahead.
I am not disagreeing
No,
that women are great
I just
human
want that.
beings and
I
we
want.
are
No, no,
top
I want that
tier
question
because we
answered.
birth
Hold a
humans.
moment. I want that question
But
answered. Do
I don't
men?
think that I get to act
No,
a certain
no, no,
way.
no,
Like
no.
that's I feel like
Nope. Nope. Nope.
yes,
Does
yes.
men risk their lives giving birth? Answer that question.
No.
Okay. Right? In any situation, when we are married to said man, right? Always, who do they acknowledge first? Us or said man, even if we're a millionaire?
I'm not disagreeing with anything you say, but I feel like that doesn't mean that I'm going to walk all over a man.
That's not walking all over. That's a man courting you. That is not walking
No,
over.
no. In the situation that I'm talking about, that you
hitting on
had
him.
brought up, huh?
He didn't really know you were hitting on him until like afterwards.
Yeah, but regardless, I feel like even so, I feel like that kind of goes back to like it's kind of off topic, but that's like, okay, Devyn, you starting a business and me being like, what are you gonna give me for free? Because I'm a friend.
Yeah,
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's that vibe I get. I think that a man should court and should show interest and prove that he likes a woman and put that energy out there.
No.
But,
When you said, hey, I would like you to wash my car, what did he say in return?
well, it was like I had saw him. The whole situation was I had saw him when I was walking Blue, and I was like, "Oh, is this like your job?" And he's like, "Oh, cool." And I was like, "Oh, what's your thing? I want to book." And he was like, "Oh, okay." So then I booked him, and then while he was cleaning my car, like as he was finishing up, I shot my shot, and I was like, "Oh, I'm about to go out to dinner. Like, you
Pause.
want to
Excuse
join?"
me. Pause. When you shot said shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after he cleaned your car, whatever, did he take funds from you?
Yes,
He's
because he's
not a real
providing
man.
service.
He's not a real man. I promise you, he's not a real man. Any man that's going to take a couple of dollars from you in comparison to having your hand in marriage is not a real man. A real man,
I
okay?
disagree.
No, back in the day, a real man would not take dollars from you. If he sees that you could potentially be his wife, the mother of his kids, like whatever, he would not take dollars from you. Men are supposed to be designed to like run to open our car doors, get wet in the rain, be hit by a fucking car, trying to cross the street to. That's what men were designed.
Yeah, but then I feel like if you're gonna go back into the day that with men, then the woman has to fall back into the day where they're serving the man constantly.
Do we not serve?
I'm not gonna do that.
Do we not serve? Still?
We do, but like I'm not gonna cater to my man how I feel like it was expected back in the day.
It's equivalent, Carvey, or not Carvey, Karlie, if not more. It's equivalent. We serve now against Instagram whores. It's even worse.
That's the hard part too, because in the society that we live in, either way, like you guys, nobody's wrong in this situation. You know,
Karlie is wrong.
I don't think she's wrong. She was supporting a small business, and she also, for the first time, shooting her shot. And I think that was a huge movement for her and what she was and willing to put herself out there and dating. So I give her huge credit for that, because I think that the thing that I hear from most of my girlfriends is they don't chase after what they want, because we're so conditioned that the man is supposed to be chasing us, that we then let whoever's attracted to us. And if you're a beautiful woman, then there's going to be so many men coming after you. And I got stuck in the moment where I felt like, okay, all these men are coming at me. I have a type, but oh, let me give this guy a chance. Oh, let me give this guy a chance. Oh, he's different. He's something I've never dated before, which I do believe women need to do. You need to date outside of your type. But at the same time, your odds, they're not in your favor if you just let whoever is around you approach you when they feel like it. Karlie took it into her own hands, and she's like, I see that man working on that car, scrubbing that car. He looks hot as fuck. I'm going to go get his services. And she got a number and a date out of the deal. I think it's a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a lose-lose.
She supported his business, so he won. And then he then returned and basically it balanced out, because then she went out, they went out on a date. So
it was null and void. Go ahead.
It was what?
Null and void.
I mean, dating is what you bring into it. So if you're gonna, depending on what you're looking for, you have to be. And so obviously, if the two of you were to have lineups of men, in front of you, you guys would pick very differently, because
no, Karlie, no, it's not about picking differently. It's just a matter of like, the more and more she works on herself, whether it's career wise, whether it's her fitness, whether it's her like whatever, like we continue to grow upon. I don't feel like at this age or at this point, it's just like, okay, well, let me just take like said guy or whatever, because like it's the right. No, if she's continuously working on herself, and Karlie's like now a 9, why the hell should Karlie be going out with a 6 just because she feels bad, or because like, he looks like he's doing the right thing in society? A 6 will never be able to properly.
She didn't think he was a 6. He was down for the adventure. And I think when you're meeting new people, especially in dating, we forget to let it just be fun. And that was your problem for a long time. You were so hyped up in your head about going out and meeting people that you didn't go out. You didn't go out and meet anybody.
No, I didn't want to meet anybody.
Exactly. Karlie was in a different stage of her healing, where she was just like, I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to go after it. So it really just depends on what stage you were in. Yes. Now, as you're dating, you should 100% your option. Every boyfriend should get better and better. I'm a living proof of that. I feel like all my boyfriends have gotten better and better, and we haven't found the one yet, but that's fine. That's because I don't really, I don't even know if I'm really looking for the one, or I'm reevaluating my life right now, but that's not the point. But I think it's about the experience and about adventures, and I think Karlie was up for the adventure. You got lucky. Nadine, literally things just fall into her lap. I guess she just prays to Jesus. She has a hotline.
I'm tired of him. He's on probation right now.
He went on one. I thought, I was like, Nadine should be on her standards. She should be on fucking private jets. So if she wants to talk about that, then I don't know why we're not sitting in a private jet right now doing this podcast, because to me, that's the standard you could be dating.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, as a person, I date the heart, not the person.
Oh,
this is true.
But Karlie can't date the heart.
I date the heart.
What? We just had a whole ass conversation about bullshit. I call bullshit.
No, I date the heart, not the person. But I would be damned if you take me to a fucking Applebee's. I promise that. I'm not getting out of the car. Okay, I'm not gonna do it. Okay,
no, you don't date the heart.
And McDonald's is okay.
Right. McDonald's is okay because we're on our way.
McDonald's would never be okay for me. I'm sorry, but McDonald's, if a guy ever even suggest going through, I'm like, what are you? We just fucking now? You took me to McDonald's, when I'm in high school, or in college,
all the time. And if we're on our way to Miami and McDonald's is on the way, I like something to hold me down until I get to dinner.
I'll pack my lunch.
If it's not,
I'm not packing my
first date, I would be cool. I like Taco Bell. I'm a teen.
I enjoy Taco Bell. I do.
Yeah. But I wouldn't want it as my first date. But
anyone that takes you to Taco Bell as a first date, you should shoot them in the face.
Okay, but here's my thing is I think that I am actually a heart person and not because I want to believe in like you if for me I'm like attracted to like your motivation and your determination as an individual. Like some people might be at a certain point in their life, but if they're like really determined, but maybe right now they're not at a Jackson's bar restaurant expense right now, but they're at an Applebee's and they're gonna take me to Applebee's. But then we talk and like I can see like you gotta show me like what steps are you doing and like for me I really like that. Like I want to get to know you. I want to know what's your drive, what pushes you, and I feel like it's not fair for me to like judge you because you took me to Applebee's instead of Jackson's, but you're doing all of these things with your life and you have it lined up. You're just working towards it,
Excuse
like
me. You're taking no. I'm always still offended about the whole Applebee's thing because honestly, I think presentation is key, planning is key. Applebee's, you don't need a reservation. I'm not playing these crackhead games at 33. I'm just not. Okay. So even if he like wanted to take you to Applebee's and he asked you like what your finger foods are that you like, appetizers,
I
whatever.
love appetizers. I would
Okay.
be cool with just ordering
Okay.
appetizers and
Any
us
guy.
munching on appetizers.
Okay, so any guy that you have like shared that information with prior to your first date, for me it's like it's the experience. If you know that I like Applebee's, if you take me to an Applebee's, I will choke the shit out of you. But if you pack a picnic basket and you go get the food from Applebee's prior to our date or whatever, and you take me to the beach or you take me to like an experience and we're having Applebee's like food, okay, cost effective. The beach is cost effective, but you bring an extra like element and or spark to it. Okay, I can respect that. That's a cost effective date that is not breaking the bank. We're not in a loud environment. I can still hear you. You can still hear me. It's intimate and it's meaningful. I'm okay with that. I'm 20, like I'm 20 to like I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with you taking me in a dirty, dark place because it's cost effective and you didn't have to put in a reservation. I'm not okay. That shows no effort. Okay, and I'm just not okay with that.
No, I would never. First of all, if I'm eating Applebee's, it's going to be fresh and it's going to be at the table or at the bar. I'm not taking it all the way to the beach. But I get where you're going.
And it's no good.
I get where you're going.
Either way, if Applebee's is the only thing that your heart desires, it has to be in a different setting. You need to like get a hot box or whatever and put it in that picnic basket and make sure that my food is equivalently steamy from the Applebee's experience to me. I don't care. I don't care if you Uber it to me. I don't care. Uber Eats.
And so
I don't care.
I would like to note that I feel like the reason why we have such differences of like opinions is maybe because of our past. Because in my past relationship, I didn't get anything. So for me now, the littlest things mean so much to me because I didn't get any effort. I didn't get nothing. Like I would have been so grateful for him to take me to an Applebee's. I didn't get any of that. I would always be the one planning. I would plan our dates. And like I'm not saying that that's okay. Like I see now like I should have not done all of those things, but at the end of the day I did it. And so now for me like the littlest effort, like I had someone come over the other day and I had made him food and he was like, "It's okay, like I'll make it." And I was like, "No, no, I don't mind." And like even just that statement, I was like, "Oh my gosh," because that would have my ex would have expected me to make him his meal. So like for him to be like, "No, I'll do it." And like I was like, "No, no, no, it's fine." And then like after he had finished eating, he put his plate on the coffee table and I had got up and he's like, "Sit down." He was like, "I'll get it in a second. Like just sit down, like relax." And like that would have never happened. Like my ex would have just let me take his plate to the so I think that like you grow from your past. So like for me, like I'm just grateful for like the little bit of effort because I didn't receive any effort. So like to me, like taking me to Applebee's and doing that, to me that's a big gesture. And I'm like, wow, that's a big deal, and like maybe that's me being simple minded then, but I would appreciate that and I would be okay with that.
I think it's situational because I can give you examples of people I've met in the wild and then we go on a date, and because we already met in this, like, where we met wasn't very impressive. Maybe it was just at a bar and we made eye contact and it was like, magical. And but then every experience after that, maybe it was well planned and well thought out. But also, like, online dating, I've also had an experience where this guy was driving, I think it was 7 to 8 hours to come and meet me for the first time. We matched online. He was just visiting Tampa for like a weekend. We matched after he had already left. He came back to Tampa that following weekend just to meet me and had flowers delivered at my job saying how excited he was to. Hadn't even met me yet, but we had just been talking on the phone, getting to know each other, sent flowers to my job, ended up getting into like a storm on his way down to come back to Tampa and was so late, and he had a nice date plan. I was all dressed up, but he got in so late that we ended up having to go to a World of Beer. And like, I'm not a big drinker either, and I definitely don't like beer, but we had fried pickles, which aren't my favorite. He made me try them, and it was just like all those little things that kind of made the experience worth it, where it's like you have someone that you find attractive and now they're talking you into trying something new, and all those little things kind of added up. But
Well, that's
and
circumstantial. That's not like he planned that date. He had an entire itinerary that just happened.
yeah, so that's why you can't really judge. Like, you can't, no one can judge us for sitting at the World of Beer at the end of the night and thinking like everyone's experience and what they take from it or their past. Because I've had a lot of stories from online dating, and but you guys wouldn't be able to probably keep up with the stories I've had. So it's like, I think you're right, Karlie. We all have like a past, and not letting that affect how you date in the future or how you find your soulmate or whatever you're looking for in that season. I think that's very important to, take that into consideration, because all three of us are going to have three totally different experiences when it comes to this.
And I feel like, I mean, I do have like boundaries, and I feel like my boundaries are more with online dating. Like, if I were to match with someone online, like, I was always like, you're planning it. Like, don't ask me what you want to do. Like, I want to see that initiative and that effort. And I feel like maybe I felt that way with online dating because you clearly see it's a mutual thing because we liked each other. You know what I mean? You liked me, I liked you. So now show me that effort and like that initiative and plan something. So like for online dating with anyone that I ever matched, if they wanted, it was never like, oh, let's chill or like, what are you doing tonight? Like, no, make a plan. I need like at least a week's notice. Let me know. And yeah, so I think I was more like strict or stern when it came to online dating, but if I met someone like out in the wild, I feel like I was more casual and more open to like different ideas, because I think I'm an activities girl. Like, in my opinion, I'd rather go do something on a first date than go eat. Like, let's go do, putt putt golf, or something like to where we can chit chat and like kind of see each other's personality come out of like, are you funny, are you silly? So I prefer like activities like that.
No, and I think that's a good point. Everything that I listened to about dating in general, whether it was online or in the wild, they said that you shouldn't be going out to dinner. It should be really short. Like, apparently your first date should be less than an hour long, because you just want, yeah, they want you to just have that quick initial first impression. It should be so everyone feels safe, and then you keep it moving. And then if you both agree, then you plan something else. But doing something like an activity where you can really see that person's personality shine, versus when you're at a dinner, sometimes that does feel like a little bit of a job interview. So it's hard to like
Yeah.
really get to know the person, because obviously, like Nadine with her 90-day probation period, like, you put on your full first effort, like when you go on a date. And so if you're sitting there and you feel like you're at a job interview, you might end up just put your like best intentions, your best foot forward, but that not be like genuinely how you would act if we went to mini golf and I saw you mess up. Now I got to kind of see how you act when you like, do you get super angry? Like, that's good to know. I want to know if you get like really angry, or do you like laugh it off and make fun of yourself. So you get to see more of a person, obviously, in an activity, I think.
I don't feel like anybody's a person until they pass the 90-day period, if not 120 days, because everyone's on their best behavior the first 90 days. Even when they fail at like shooting a ball in a hoop or whatever the terminology is, or a ball in the hole or whatever, they're not going to be their genuine self, because obviously you're looking at them. So they're going to be a polished version of themselves. It's not until you get them in your own setting where you just realize, okay, like, this is what you, I guess, promoted, if not advertised, and this is what I'm seeing. It like conflicts with what like, but it takes that person to build that comfort. For me, first date, second date, third date, fourth, eighth, 10th, until that person is beyond that comfort level, because statistics show, and I can ask, I'm not going to say her name because she's going to become active, okay? But statistics show that for any bad habit, it takes us approximately like what, 21 to like 30 days for us to get like retrain our minds to get out of a bad habit, right? So most people, like, they sit there and they'll love bomb us within the first week. They'll tell us everything our hearts possibly desire in that time. Does that make them a good person? Absolutely not. But they already know the game. Like, they've studied the game because they have their own agenda, right? Those are the people that the 90 days are designed for. Why? Because their goal is to solely get into our pants, and they'll tell us everything. They'll tell us the world, like every shoulda, woulda, coulda. They will like plan like all of that out. So they'll spend the money. They'll take us on the most boring date or the most extravagant date because they have that on their mind. But then what happens after they get it? After we're so wooed, like, oh my God, he's so common or he's so extravagant, like he's the one. And then he or she gets what their hearts desire. And it's like, okay, like now he's dead to the world. You know what I mean? So yes, I have different standards because it's like, if I'm gonna get love bomb, I'm gonna at least get like a very nice experience out of it. I'm not gonna get just the most basic experience where you're gonna repeat everything I've told you as if you have what, good listening skills. You can remember shit like, okay, like if you want a cookie for that, whatever. But like that doesn't make you my soulmate. Once more, it goes back to courting. I need to be courted, and courted is not over 1 or 2 dates. Courted is over an extended period of time where the person gets to know you. They get to know all of your quirks because quirks are like ever changing or whatever. And they get a general idea of like, damn, like, do I really want to be with this girl? Or do I really want to be with this guy? Or can I really be with this girl? Like, she's not the best person in the morning, or she's not the best person at night. But like, I see like true lifelong characteristics. Like, I don't want a person who's just like, you know what, I can go back on that app and swipe left or swipe right or whatever because like, you know, I don't like the way she like picked at her food tonight. So I'm gonna go back on the app and I'm gonna like, I have options. Like once more, it takes away from the meaningful aspect. So maybe that's why a lot of people don't like online dating, because they have so many options. And the moment we step out of line or we do something to deviate from their, I guess, itinerary or their plan, it's just like, I don't want her anymore. I have 50 more like her. I can just like this.
Well, definitely.
I
Go ahead, Karlie.
Oh, I was just gonna say I agree because I feel like that is also one of the big reasons why I got rid of online dating is because I feel like it's ruining like dating culture in the sense exactly what you said of like no one is putting in that time and that effort to get to know one individual because at the end of the day like we're all going to have our flaws. No one is perfect. We all have, baggage or whatever we want to call it. But when you have this online dating and like Nadine said, someone shows a cork and like, oh, I don't like the way they eat their food, and they immediately jump on an app, like I don't want someone like that. Like if you're going to just keep seeing what your options are, you're never even giving this person the time of day and working to see. And I will admit that I was one of those people that like the moment, and that's I think partially why I got rid of it too, because I didn't want that for me and I didn't want to do that to someone. Like if there's someone that I genuinely like, I want to see where it goes. I want to put my time and effort into you to see what can be made of it, but people don't do that nowadays. I feel like people want the easy instant gratification, and I just feel like they're honestly being like built up for disappointment because that's not how the world is. Like there's not going to be, in my opinion, no one out there that is so perfect that you're not going to have any issues or concerns, but we don't put that work in to work through those issues when they arise. Instead we flee and we find someone else until then the issue arises with them, and then we flee again instead of like staying and being committed and working through it.
I think that's one way to look at it, but if to just narrow down to online dating is ruining our dating culture, Instagram is ruining our dating culture. There's millions and millions of people more on Instagram, and buddy that I'm interested in could go and slide into another chick's DM who's showing booty shots all day long quick.
Absolutely.
So I would much rather go on a dating app where I know where at least if that person's being upfront with what they intentionally want in the, in their life right now, then I can be the one to say, okay, this person's not for me, this person is. And so I think the problem is when you're dating, you have to be open. Like if you want that to be a part of your life, and if you're looking for what you do want, what you don't want in a partner, you can't fall in love with every guy you go on a date with. And so I think people, and it's good for women to know, like, okay, I'm not in an open season of my life. I can't go on a date. If he holds the door for me, I'm going to fall in love with him. And I'm going to create up this story in my head that he is now my soulmate. He is now my husband, which I've totally done before. But I'm also able to shut that off quickly too. And that's the thing. Like you put out what you, or you get back what you put out. So you have to really be mindful, especially for women. We really do have to pay attention to how we're putting ourselves out there because people perceive us different than how we perceive them. I know I've been on dates where the guy literally so I was set up with this guy and we went out on a date. It was really nice. We went to like this sushi restaurant, nice environment. And then when we got to the parking lot, this is our first date. We got to the parking lot. We're by the car. He goes in for a first kiss. I have nothing against kissing on the first night. Keep it PG. Don't be too, crazy. He grabbed me by my booty cheeks, lifted me up, and this man was tall. There was no, it happened so quickly that I swarmed my way out of it. But he literally at the restaurant, we were at a nice restaurant in the parking lot, and he grabbed me by my booty cheeks, picked me up where my legs were wrapped around him. I'm trying to squirm, but we had already started kissing. He did this in the midst of kissing. So I'm already focused on kissing him, but then grabs me. So we don't always know what we're putting out there and how the person's going to, receive what we're putting out there.
I don't think that's anything that you put out. I feel like before he left the house, he had an itinerary. Well,
yeah. And that's the thing. Now, if I was a woman who was just like, oh my God, this is what dating's like, I'm never going on a date again, I would have been scarred for life. But I never saw him again because I think that's inappropriate. I got a chance, definitely. I told him what went wrong. And we'll talk about that too, because it is very interesting when you put yourself out there, you do tend to either have to be the one that's doing the breaking up, or you have to accept the fact that you will be the one getting broken up with. And I think that's what really is the scary part of online dating, because you have to constantly deal with rejection and then also other, being the one who has to give rejection, because that is just as hard. So,
well, I feel like I am the opposite of you in the sense of you were saying like you can fall in love with anyone. I feel like I am the total opposite. And I think that goes back to earlier when I was saying like I build this like scenario or situation in my head, especially with people that I meet online. And then like on my way to the date, I'll be like building it up like da da da. And then I meet them and I'm just disappointed and I'm like, I don't feel nothing, And
I'm so mediocre.
But like,
and that's on me. That's my fault. Yeah. And that's why I had acknowledged that. I was like, I don't think dating online is good for me because I put this unnecessary pressure and expectations on this person, on myself, on the situation. And it's not fair to that person. I absolutely will admit that, but I do that. And I think it was a defense mechanism for me to not get hurt, because how you said you're either the one breaking up or you're the one getting broken up with. And I think at the end of the day, I just wasn't ready. And so I would just be the first one to be the breaking up with so that I could reject you before you reject me, because I'm scared to be rejected.
That's fair. Nadine, were you going to say something?
I forgot.
Well, and
like my first date, I was putting makeup on in the car because I ran out of time. So I think it's just a matter of like how, for me, I can't speak for anyone else. It's like how confident you feel about yourself, and if you feel like you're the prize. I don't care if I'm picking my like a booger out, and for like I'm the prize. Like this is going to be our everyday. Granted, it's not going to be our first date. I'm picking a booger, but you get what I'm saying. Like there should be that level of like, I'm still a girl. I'm not this image or this like I'm still a girl, which means I'm gonna be like looking in the mirror. I'm gonna be like powdering my, like I'm gonna be doing like these things. Like I'm still human, at the end of the day. Like I'm I'm not like, if that's what you want, this prim and polished person or whatever, that's just not what I am. And if that's the expectation that's set because it's like an online dating thing, or like they're paying for like for your time, then they will feel like they're paying for your time, and they will expect something at the end of said date because they feel like they're paying for this experience. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, my first date was very chill. I was a mess. I got dressed in like less than 10 minutes. I had to balance everyone out during that course of the day. I put my makeup on in the car. He assists with my makeup putting on, and that's just what it is, because the prize was like getting me to get into that car and go on a date with you. Like, it just is what it is. If this is not what you envision as far as your dream girl or wife or whatever, that's okay. You can bow out. But if it's the realist and the realism, like this is a person that you can wake up next to every day, that's normal, that sneezes from time to time, that has meltdown from time to time, that doesn't like when multiple servers approach her all at once and she's overwhelmed, that says I can't do this, like that, like that's who I am. First date, that's what you get.
Well, and that's why our dating experiences all have been very different. Because I made notes of just all my good experiences in the wild and the online. And I'm just not, when I go out on a date, I literally, it's my favorite time to basically get all dolled up. I want like, ideally I want like an hour to get ready and to listen to music and feel like my baddest bitch self. And that's how I would never, I would tell him like, sorry, hey, we need to push this date back 30 minutes. There would be no way. But I'm a very on time person too. So it sounds like you were maybe running late that day, and someone who's very busy, like obviously there's been times where I've literally had to go from here to there, but he got you out there. So I give huge credit for him, because Nadine went on one online date, and now 4 months later, here we are, and she's dating the one guy she went on a date with online.
Horrible.
So, so I've been on 100, and I'm still single. So I don't know. So there's no right answer here. It's just literally what you're, willing to experience. I think I'm a lot more open, and maybe that is my problem. I have too many options, and then therefore I can't pick. I know exactly what I want my life to look like, and if you don't fit in that, I'm willing to go have a good time with you. I think what you said, Nadine, is exactly right. If you're going to go and spend time with this person that you don't know, you just met, could be the worst date of your life, it better be a good experience at least. So then that way you can at least have a memory about it. Because if you're a good time, and you generally have like, you're a funny person or fun to be around, whether that is a bad or good date, like you should be able to enjoy yourself. Like if it's not the one, you should still be able to sit there and have another interaction with a human being and listen to that person's story or ask them questions about their life. There has to be one thing that you find interesting about them. And that way you're not completely wasting your time or feeling like, oh my gosh, like this is still another human being. You have to keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you guys some, if unless you guys want to add something.
No, I'm good.
I have some dating rules that I think would be helpful for my lady friends. And so I'm going to say one, and then you guys, I would like to get your feedback about. And so I have 11 rules. These are my 11 rules to dating. If you're putting yourself out there, if you are a single woman and you're looking for, whether you're in the hoe phase, whether you're looking for the one, whether you're, got divorced and now you're re-entering into the dating world, because my experience when I was in my mid 20s, dating was so much fun. I had so much patience to go on like 2-3 dates a week. I was able to do it. Now that I am 34, I find it a lot more difficult to have that patience to, entertain somebody who I don't see a future with. So it has to be an experience for me to spend my time with that person. So, but here are my rules. The first one, be a good human and listen.
For how long?
That part doesn't really matter. That's situational. But be a good person. If you're on a date with someone, Nadine, you want to be a good person and sit there and listen. If this person's treating you to dinner or dessert or an activity, whatever it may be, you are to be a good person You are to make, because what I've heard from guys is they can't stand going out on a date with a woman who sits there and just, she knows that she's, or thinks she's a badass bitch, and she's just going to sit there and not say nothing and be on her phone and looking. Like, I think that's so disrespectful. If someone's,
It is, but I'm not going to listen to all of your car stories, your gym muscle stories, and or your like. I can't. I won't. I'm sorry. If that's the case, we can split the bill. Hell, I can pay the bill. I will not be subject to you like trying to feel like a man or just like laying out all of your accomplishments within the hour and like buying my time. Like that's mean.
but why does your mind go directly to a negative experience? When I say be a good person, what if what if you were actually enjoying that person's experience, but maybe you have
No,
going on in
fine.
your mind? Maybe at the same time, you just have to intentionally be present and listen to a person. So you don't know this guy too much. He's letting you have some stage time. You're giving him some stage time. But overall, like if you're going to go out and experience with this person, you need to sit there and listen, because listening as well will tell you everything. You've always told me that if you listen more than you talk. So then that way, all the answers or questions that you have, he will naturally tell you the answers just because you were listening.
I mean, I suppose. Go ahead with rule number 2.
Karlie, what do you think about that when I say be a good person and just listen?
I agree. I think I'm a talker, so I love having conversation. Like, I think if the guy brings out his phone, I'm gonna get annoyed. So I obviously don't want to bring out my phone. And I think like I like the back and forth. I like more conversation of like I say something and it sparks something with you, so then you say it and it sparks more so than like, so tell me about you. Like I want like something we have in common to, but that's just, but I agree. Yes, I agree.
And I don't think you're wrong, Nadine. That it's hard to sit there and to know, like, I'm never gonna see this guy again. I am not. I You don't really have to, like, being present and listening. Like, I feel like you can be there but not necessarily totally listening. You can go and step into the bathroom and go on your phone and be like, oh my god, this guy's so lame, I'm never going to see him again, and then go back to the table, have your manners, and then call the night, early. Don't prolong it. But there is definitely, I think, if you want good karma in the world, I'm saying don't be so disrespectful, because there's some girls out there that I don't think, and that's why men are scarred from dating. I feel like years ago I got such better dating experiences than now, because I feel like men have caught on. Men have caught on.
Hold on. I feel like, just so I don't forget, I feel like the only reason why men are predominantly scarred is because they date incorrectly. Hands down, the only reason why they're scarred, because you wouldn't be scarred if you stayed one within your league, one within your age group or whatever. So they're buying this false sense of whatever. You see like a 90-year-old with a 30-year-old, and it's just like, I'm paying for your time and I'm supposed to be so captivated with you telling me how you built Mount Rushmore or whatever. I'd like, dude, like my attention span is of a gnat. I don't care about how you like, I just want to like, like live, but then like I'm disrespectful if I'm, like not into what you're saying. But then again, had you been interested in somebody that shares the same interest, somebody that is along the lines of your age group, someone that would actually see what you're saying as being cultured or whatever, maybe you would have a better experience. But because you're going out and you're looking for the wrong person, you're looking for a girl that has, like whatever. I'm not putting down Instagram. Like I'm not putting down any type of model or any type of person. I'm saying that they go after these girls. Like yesterday, we were at the gym. I was forced to go to the gym against my will. I just want that to be known. Okay. And this guy was working out, and this girl passes by or whatever. She was working out for a little bit, and he's like trying to talk to her, and she's like screaming over her headphones, like, "Oh, I can't hear you. Like my music is playing loud. I can't hear you." And me and my guy got into a whole like discussion over because he was like, "Oh, she shouldn't have said that." And I was like, "Whoa, why does she have to defend herself at the gym? I'm at the gym. I'm sweaty. I don't smell delightful. I don't want to talk to you. I'm trying to focus on how many weights I should put on. I should not have to entertain you while you're approaching me in a very vulnerable state. Like, why should I be like open to you, like building up the courage to approach me?" Oh, well, she hurt his feelings. He annoyed her. He invaded her private space. As far as I'm concerned, like there's a time and a place for everything. Maybe if she was on her way to the restroom or on her way out, okay, she's lifting weights. So you want me to get injured? because I'm in like I'm in like I'm entertaining you because like now you feel like you're in your feelings, and because I'm like dressed a certain way or whatever, like you feel like I'm approachable. That's me telling you that I want to be talked to. And it was a 30-minute back and forth, and he was just like, "Oh, that's rude." But it's not rude. You set yourself up for failure. He set himself up for being laughed at by multiple guys. Why are you approaching me in that setting? Would I approach you when you're playing a game? No, because you would ignore the fuck out of me. Why? Because you're in the zone, right? You're in the zone. You're focused. And whatever version of you I get at that time is a version that you're going to be like, well, you should have known, like, I was really focused. I was really focused too at the gym. I don't want you talking to me at the gym. Why can't an attractive woman go to the gym and not be preyed on by your type? Mm-hmm. It's just one of those things. So maybe guys wouldn't be so disappointed if they dated within their league. If you're this type of guy, if you're a nonchalant type of guy, don't go after a high, like like a high maintenance chick. Why? She's gonna give you high maintenance fucking issues. Don't do it.
I think I'm hot, and I wouldn't consider myself high maintenance.
No, no, no. At the end of the day, don't go after girls that are out of your league, because one, it builds insecurity. They're going to be like, okay, she's a 10, I'm a 6 or whatever. Yes, I got her attention. Now I'm going to try to keep her behind closed doors because I'm afraid that every other guy is looking at my girl and is going to try to get my. I don't have time for those crackhead games. I'm too old for that. So, which means that you need to be equally of the highest self-esteem, because it's like, okay, if I can get a 10, I know that I can stand next to a 10 and feel confident. And I'm not like making her feel like she has to dummy it down in order for my ego to feel like it's something. Like, no one has time for that. So maybe if guys dated within their league, then they wouldn't have so much disappointment. On online dating or whatever, like no one is asking for 10-star dinners. Go after the girl that doesn't look like she's asking. But you're going after a girl, when you look at her profile, you can get at least a 70% understanding of who she is. If everything on her or her profile or whatever illustrates you're going to have to spend money, why like her? Do you have money? No. Go for the girl that has picnic baskets on her profile, the girl that says she likes long walks on the beach, the girl that coincides with what your values are. And then there will be a match.
Applebee's is her spot to be.
And there's girls like that. There you go.
Have you been on a bad date before where you had to kind of fake it and get it over with?
Yes, with multiple older guys that had no business dating me.
But you were.
And I would like to say, with what Nadine was saying, and I'm assuming that's in regards to what Devyn had said for rule number 1. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Devyn, but I feel like your rules, we should preface that these rules are if you're on a date, because I agree with Nadine. Like, if I'm at the gym and I'm working out and someone approaches me, I'm not gonna be a good human and listen. I'm at the gym. But I think in Devyn's situation, if I'm correct, it's you're intentionally on a date with the person, and they're not.
No, you're in a phase of your life where you want to date, you want to meet people, and you are looking for people. And so when I say
okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, when I say be a good human, I'm saying like you're going on a date, and you also, the hard thing is, what I found hardest when I was beginning my dating journey was I felt like it made me a bad person, because I didn't know how to just not only love on one man. I'm like, oh, I went on a great date with this guy. That means none of the other guys matter anymore. And I found very quickly you're going to get hurt like that, because in dating, that is what you're doing. You are finding the one, you're finding what you don't like. So it is perfectly fine for you to have a roster and for you to experiment and see what's out there. My whole thing about being a good human was that is what made me feel like I had dignity at the end of the day. So those moments where I had to do the rejecting, I could still be grounded in, I know I'm a good person. I treat these people like good human beings. Because there's so many things, the ghosting, whether you ghost somebody and just kind of disappear from their life, or do you give them a verbal reason of why you don't want to date them anymore? There's so many things that challenge you being like feeling like a good person. So for me anyways, it's more so like, if I agree to go on a date with you, I probably find you attractive. It's not till we start conversation where I see that you're not funny or you only talk about yourself. And that's what I'm saying. Like, just try to enjoy the experience. So even if that doesn't mean listening, if that means that for you to enjoy the experience, you're gonna have to say, I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore. But I went on a date with a guy when I first moved to Texas, and he felt to tell me, this little liberal girl, that he had tell me all about his guns and how Hillary, all these things about Hillary Clinton, and just I was just like, are you really thought that that was going to be your way of like wooing me and like getting me to see you another time? Like, and so I sat there through it, but I was able to end the night earlier than normally I would have. I could have stayed out later, but you could always say you have to work the next day. There's ways to, you don't have to sit there and suffer in silence. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone doing that.
And I was gonna say, I feel like to that point, if you're on a date and you're not having a good time, then no, I'm not gonna continue to listen. I'm not gonna be rude about it. But if they're like being disrespectful or something, I think they need to be called out on it, because
This isn't
if
about
I
them
don't,
being disrespectful, though. This is just simply, you know, in your head that this isn't your one. I'm not saying he's being disrespectful. You guys don't have to jump me. You guys don't, relax. You guys are okay. You're safe. Relax. You are just on a date and you realize this person isn't the one for you. That's all I'm saying. It's
yeah, then
that
just sit
simple.
through it and then know you're never gonna go out with them again.
That's it. I'm just saying, put that good karma out there. You guys really, this is why you guys haven't had a lot of dating experiences online, and it is shining right now. And clearly, this is why I have been. I'm like, you guys are like quick to defense. I'm like, oh my God, like you're safe. Don't worry. You're at a nice restaurant. Everyone's happy. You because that's the thing. If he plans something and you don't like where he's planned, give him suggestions. There
Yeah.
have been times where I sit back and I do like to wait and see what they have to offer, what they come up with, because I do judge them a little bit based on what restaurant or bar. Are they trying to take me to a bar? I told a guy a couple weeks ago, I was just like, hey, if you ask me out to go on a date and you want me to meet you at a bar, I'm not gonna come, because I don't drink a lot, and I know in this stage of life that I don't do well with big drinkers. I don't like them. And so now I know I'm already setting myself up for success by vocalizing that. So when I say be a good human, listen, I'm not telling you guys to take disrespect or, none of that. Just, I'm saying, maybe it's a guy, he's really sweet, and you just know that
We just needed to clarify. We just needed to clarify.
it just, you realize,
I don't know if we're gonna get through all 11 rules if we're gonna be giving this much feedback.
geez,
Maybe pick like a few more goodies that you think.
gosh, okay, let me, well, I don't even know what else to bring up. I get you guys to take your defense down a little bit. And just act like I know you guys haven't really, Nadine went on one fucking date and that was it. And so we really don't have much to compare, but just, you're on a date and you are one of those women like me who've had to sit through dates to figure out what I don't like, what I like. And it, so just remind yourself, it's keep it simple and sweet. That's what dating should be. It should be, really, I think we complicate it. And that's why so many of my girlfriends, I've told them, I'm like, I'm tired of you guys not giving me stories back. I don't want to be the only one giving you dating stories and having all these juicy secrets and juicy stories, and you guys are telling me about the same lame guy that Netflix and chilled you for 5 years. And I'm just like, oh my God, like I can't listen to another boring ass dating story in my life. So yeah, I'm calling out all my fellow lady friends who don't give me any juicy stories. If you're fucking beautiful, you should have some dating stories, and that's all there is to it.
Well, I'm not allowed to have dating stories anymore because evidently I'm in a relationship.
From one Hinge date. And it's beautiful, and that is the universe working.
And I have a tennis bracelet because I had a meltdown and he bought me a tennis bracelet.
I don't
But go
know
ahead.
if healthy or toxic, but we'll talk about that another. All right, my
I mean,
second.
the outcome was healthy.
Yeah.
The journey was toxic, but the outcome was healthy. I like it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Rule number 2 is date outside your type.
I did.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like do you guys have a type that you were going after continuously and find out it didn't work? Or I think that's important for girls who are dating, need to know. Like, if you notice your dating type is not working out for you, you might have to reconsider if your type is good for you.
I think I I bounced around, tried out little things here and there.
Okay, so you would agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Good. Okay, good. Rule number 3, don't paint pictures. Like, don't fall in love with their potential. Stay in reality. I've had to tell myself to get over an ex constantly. Bring yourself back
Yeah.
to reality of what really happened.
I agree. I can't agree that I do it, but I agree.
I agree.
Try our best.
We're only human.
It's hard being human. Rule number 4. Have you had a successful hoe phase? Do you think having a hoe
I have
phase
not.
before you,
Very-
huh?
I have not, and I'm very upset about it.
I don't think that I have either.
You don't think you guys have had hoe phases?
Not a very healthy one, no.
I
Do
don't
you
think
think it's
so.
I mean,
important
define
to,
low stage, like multiple people a week.
Well,
Define,
what are you classifying a hoe phase?
yeah.
I think when you're dating around, I guess you guys, let's just skip that one for you guys.
Because I've never had a hoe phase. I would like to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you think it's healthy or do you think it's necessary for you to have a hoe phase
I don't think it's
before you
necessary.
commit?
No, I don't think
Necessary.
it's necessary because sex is different for men and women. Sex for us is a bond. Sex for men is a release. So I don't think it's necessary for us to give our bodies to multiple men because we have sex to form bonds, not to get off, whereas men have sex to get off. So for us
If you
to,
want to have a hoe phase, do it. But I don't think it's like necessary to date.
I don't think it's healthy to have a hoe phase because a hoe phase is you just laying there, like going through the motions and thinking like, okay, yeah, you get dressed up and I'm the baddest bitch and I'm gonna, have sex with this guy. But once more, it goes back to how we're designed DNA wise and how like just pretty much just how we're like the makeup of us. We're not designed to want several people to run through us. We're designed to want to build a bond with one person.
I think that's fair. I kind of on the fence with that one because I feel like that's why I said, have you had a successful hoe phase? Because I think, like you said, for everybody it's different and what their hoe phase is considered to be or what you're willing to do. If you're in a hoe phase, you need to know that you're not doing it just to lay on your back and you're doing it because you feel like you need to release energy as well. Sexual,
I mean, if it's capital gain, okay. But like, if no money is gained from it or anything like that, like,
yeah,
I mean, having sex to have sex.
yeah, you have to evaluate if it's really healthy for you because that's
Yeah,
too. Women constantly, like you said, a female experience of sex is different than a male experience. Most of the time, it's geared toward making sure the man gets off and making sure, especially when you're younger. It's not till I feel like women come into their own, and that's all at all different ages, that all of a sudden women now have a say so in their sexual experience. Because you've dated guys like that. I'm sure you guys have been around guys like that. They're like you're just like okay, am I gonna get off? Like what are we doing here? And then there's guys that are so eager to do it where you're just like, oh, that's a man right there. Like, we're going to see him again. But I think successfully having a hoe phase, it just, like you said, knowing that you're dating right now and
a promiscuous stage, yes. A stage of being open, yes. So I wouldn't title it a host stage. I would just be like, once more, just like you said, to circle back to just dating, like pretty much what dating is entertaining multiple people until one person rises to the occasion and says that, you know what, I want to be what you have spoken to me about, like what you desire in a man. I feel like it's dating. I don't feel like it's hoish. I don't feel like it's anything more than talking to multiple people and whoever spikes your interest or whoever steps to the plate and is willing to commit and be exclusive is the person you give your undivided attention to. Until then, everyone's on the still like on the same playing field. Like no one stands out. So am I really being a hoe or am I exploring all of my options?
yeah. I mean, and again, when I say hoe phase, I'm saying it very lightly. So, but again, people,
Carly, what did you do? I just saw a notice at the bottom of my screen. What'd you
discreet,
do?
Nadine, discreet.
Oh,
Oh my god.
All right. Rule number 5, don't be a fuck girl. So that means don't intentionally go out to hurt people's feelings.
I'm not that. So go ahead.
Yeah, I knew a girl who I literally had to tell her over and over again, you're gonna get murdered if you keep playing with these grown men feelings. So if you don't want to, like, you're messing with grown men right now, so just be careful and be mindful that don't intentionally go out to hurt people's feelings. Ghosting versus a verbal breakup, have you guys tried both? Which do you think is better? Do you
I
Situational.
situational.
I just think telling the person, like, if I talk to you multiple times, if I have to talk to you more than 3 times, then yes, I'm gonna ghost you. Not because I'm ghosting you because like I'm not able to reach that like conversation. It's just that you just don't understand, like you have a almost a disability where I'm telling you I don't want to be with you, and you continue to, like, you look at that as if it's a challenge. So now you're not listening to what I'm telling you. I don't believe in ghosting because ghosting leaves that unknown. I don't want it to be unknown. I want it to be known that I don't like you. Hey, if you call me back, it's 99% of a chance that I will not answer the phone because of X, Y, and Z. That person then has the opportunity to tell you, well, no, I didn't really mean to sneeze on the date or whatever. You then listen, okay, and then you end the conversation with, okay, thank you so much for sharing your point of view, or like your opinion on my opinion. However, my position still stand, and if you call me tomorrow and I don't answer, know that I'm not playing hard to get. It's done. Now, I feel like that's healthy. The person starts to grieve at midnight, as opposed to you ghosting them and the person thinking that you changed providers. You can't, it's just a waste of time for everyone. And I feel like ghosting means like you still want to play those games, like you still want to be wanted, like it's toxic. Like, oh, I still want to be wanted. I'm not going to tell them where they stand just so I can have multiple text messages or like multiple like missed calls. It makes me feel like the sense of validation, like several people are after me, when I'm like, no. In retrospect, you just didn't know how to properly close a door. If I'm not feeling you, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, maybe if you call me 15 more times, maybe on the 16th time I'll go. No, I don't like you. Maybe at a later date I might like you, but not right now, not at this season. So I recommend you talk to other girls, and if it's God's plan, we might circle around, whatever, like, whatever the situation may be. But at least I'm letting you off and I'm allowing you to venture off, as opposed to me being selfish and being like, I'm going to keep you in this state of like confusion. Like, that's a narcissistic way of dealing with people. Like, I'm not going to tell you that you didn't make the cut, but I'm just going to continue to just, like, like, well, you could have made the cut, you could have possibly made the cut, like, let's see. I feel like that's a mind fuck, and that's grounds for someone to shoot you in your face.
But
Because
I don't think that's ghosting. I think ghosting is where like you cut the person off and you never talk to them again. Like I feel like what you're explaining is like you're kind of giving them crumbs.
no, I don't give crumbs. I give full pieces. I give a cake.
No, I'm
That's
not
what you
saying
get.
you. I'm not saying you, Nadine. I'm saying you, general, like a general you, like what you were explaining of like, oh, like you want to see your phone blow up and that's toxic. Like I agree, but I don't think that that is ghosting in my opinion. I think that's like the person is leaving like little crumbs, like they're not giving enough.
But why wouldn't
But
you give enough? Why, if you don't like the person, why wouldn't you give enough? Why wouldn't you make a cut? Why are you playing with the fabric?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just explaining that I think what you're talking about is not ghosting. I think ghosting is where you just stop talking to the person, you never hit them up
Yeah.
ever again. That's ghosting. And like I think ghosting for me, like ghosting or telling the person, in my opinion, it's situational. Like if I met you once or whatever, I don't think that I owe you an explanation. It just depends on the situation. Like there might be times where I don't owe you an explanation and maybe I'm just not feeling it, so I am going to ghost you. It would take too much energy
A
for me
phone
to
call
text
and
a
or a
single
text does
person.
not take energy. A phone call and or a text, the same way if you were to go on one job interview. If you go on one job interview, okay, you don't, those people don't owe you an explanation. There's no written law that stipulates that they owe you an explanation. You go on a job interview. If you don't get a response back, you live in suspense for the next 30 to 60 days, which means any
And they
other
do it to
opportunity.
you.
Okay, but how do you feel when they do that to you? How do you feel when they could have
I
easily
forget
told
about it. I assume that I didn't get it. I mean, I don't. I just assume I didn't. If I don't get a call within like a week or 2 weeks, I'm just moving on. I didn't get it. I'm not like, oh my god, like. And honestly, like, if you're dating the way that I feel like Devyn is saying, where like you're not just with one person, you're dating around. It is gonna take energy and effort to be like, hey, I don't see this working out, and I met you like once. Nah, bro, it just didn't work, so I'm just gonna move on. Like, and you're
why
gonna get gonna wait
Like,
around
why can't
30
you?
days
Why
to see
can't
if I'm
you?
gonna fucking text you back.
Why
I'm not
can't you
doing
text
that.
the exact words? Nah, bro, I don't see this working. Why can't you text those?
Because that takes energy. I don't even want to give you that energy. I
But
didn't feel it. I don't want to give that energy out.
I don't want to give you the energy of 2 sentences, but I can give myself the energy of continuously ignoring your phone calls when they come through for the next 30 days.
Why?
Does that make
Like,
sense?
why not? If that
Energy.
man's calling you 30 days, there's something wrong because
Yeah, and then I don't want to answer you because why are you calling me every single day for 30 days? Hell no.
because this was a big question for me when I first started dating, was trying to make it like a science experiment, basically, of seeing like what outcome worked best with people. And the ghosting, obviously, it didn't make me feel like the best person. It does. Like Nadine said, you want to be able to be direct, tell someone, let them have that space to tell you, okay. But what I found when I did that, when I didn't ghost and I did the verbal breakup, is now you have to have the space for that person to now get into their feelings, and now they're going to defend themselves. And
They
that
can defend themselves, Devin, all day long. They are, you give that, okay, so you give that window. Hey, I didn't think the first date went well or whatever. It's not you, it's me or whatever. I personally always say it's not me, it's you. But if you want to be nice, you can say it's not you, it's me or whatever. I'm looking for other types or whatever. You're looking for other types. I wish you the best of luck on all of your future endeavors. You do not owe that person a whole session of them venting about their childhood
but if
and
you
everyone.
open that
But
door, you are
it's gonna,
No,
yes.
no, that means no. That doesn't open the
But
door.
you would just hang up. I feel
No,
like
no,
that's ruder
no.
than
You're not.
just ghosting
No,
them.
you're not hanging up because you're not confident enough to get on the phone. That's a text message. That's the most ill-efficient way of. Okay, you send them a text message. Now,
how
if
long
that
have you been
person,
dating this person? Because too, like honestly, like unless I'm dating you, and honestly, my last relationship broke up through text message because that's just how we communicated. Which is sad. I know now that it's just like that's a huge red flag. I never want to have a relationship like that again. But at the same time, I felt like when I gave them that room, men, we're talking about grown men here who get or who just got their feelings hurt because you said you didn't feel like the date went well, and if they felt like the date went well, they're not going to be like, okay, Nadine, sure, if you felt that way, you're the prize. I'll back away and I'll respectfully bow out.
that 90% of murder cases that happen are based on what?
We're talking about dating. We're not talking about your murder documentaries that you haven't left the house to go on a date because you watched.
I'm in a relationship. I don't need to go on any more dates. I'm just saying that 90% of people that come back and lash out are people that what never got clear cut
No, they're
answers.
already married and have children. Those are the people out here murdering. So I'm more scared for you than for me. Um, but I'm just telling from experience, I gave people that respect and I thought I was doing the right thing by giving them that verbal breakup. And sometimes it doesn't go as graceful as you think it's going to go, and how like you can go in it with good intention. But I had a guy tell me, don't hit him up. I was just using him to boost my ego. And I was just like, bro, you're the last person I would have used to, if I, to boost my ego. And he went in on me. And luckily I was confident in myself to know like, okay, I'm a good person. This one person's experience or perspective of me is not the whole entire truth. I'm sorry he got his feelings hurt, because these are grown men again that we're telling them something really hard, and they thought that they were big dick, Harry out and gave us a great date, and so now they think that we owe them the world. But sometimes I don't think that a verbal breakup is as easy or as clear as you would want it to be. Like, that definitely gives great direction, but I feel like in certain situations it's just good to bow out and just say, like, if you guys both knew the energy was off, then I feel like you both can respectfully bow out. I've had a guy that I did ghost. We went on three. For me, it's 3 strikes, you're out. If there's 3 times that I've given you and I'm still like, oh, I don't know, I'll give them 3 chances, and then at that point I will bow out if needed. So I don't know. We're all entitled to our own opinion, obviously. But from my experience, I wish that the vocal breakup, because that's what made me feel like a better person. But I felt like ghosting was just the better way to go in some situations.
I agree.
But we can all disagree too. Do you think it's important to have evaluation time or for reflection time after each person you dated, whether this be someone you dated for a couple months and then you're like, okay, I'm ready to go back out there, or you're dating a bunch of guys, or like if you're in a 4-month long relationship, how long would it take for you to get back out into the world?
I feel like everyone's different because for me, I think that I do need that, but that's just because who I am. But I have friends who they've ended relationships and they've immediately met someone and they're cool, it does. So I don't know. It's funny because I feel like you going through these rules just shows the name of our show of It's Hard Being Human, and everyone is different because it's everyone has a different perspective on these. So like that's why I feel like it's so hard to say like these are the cut and dry not that that's what you're saying. I'm not saying that, but like it's so hard
How we
because everyone
take
is
it is so
different.
differently. So I could say one
Yeah,
sentence
exactly.
and we all have 3 different answers to go along with it. So
Yeah, because like for me, I know that I am like the type of person that if I liked that person, yeah, I'm gonna take some time to reflect on things like that. If I didn't like them, I'm gonna be fine the next day. You know what I mean? Like,
um all right, well, let's save some of the rules. Maybe we'll have to do an Instagram poll or something. But the
yeah,
rule 11 is there. So there's 11 rules. And rule 11 is there are no rules. It's just be who you fucking are. Whatever your standard is, that's your standard. But always make sure to keep growing and keep learning yourself. So then that way you can keep having better dating experiences based on what you like.
I agree.
Because if you put me, Nadine, and Karlie on a date, Nadine might fall in love with the guy. Karlie might hate, or is disgusted with him, and I'm just like, okay. And then same for each and one of us. We do not have the same type, and so each one of us would have a completely different what we would be like an ideal first date situation. So that's the
Yes.
rule: is sum up everything. None of it matters, and just go into it having fun and be yourself. And if anything, learn who you are. In dating and
Mhm.
finding the one, you have to realize that you are the one. So,
And I think like don't like you said like know who you are, know what your wants are, and like don't settle because you'll find what you're looking for. But like my not settling might be Nadine settling, and Nadine, you know what I'm saying? So like just whatever feels right for you, and sometimes it's hard not to take other people's perspective or like their opinions, but know that like at the end of the day it's you and that person in the relationship and not your friends or your family. And I mean they obviously have some say because they know you, but don't let them talk you out of liking someone or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nadine, any last tips for the women out there wanting to date online or in the wild? What would be a dating tip for them?
Just go for it. You create your own narrative. Just go for it.
Like that.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, is that sum up our online versus in the wild episode?
Yeah.
I think so.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. I know it was a bit long. Be patient with our sound. Hopefully, this is a good one.
It's gonna be better. Yeah, I feel
Great. And so stay tuned for the next episode, May 14th. And
yeah.
Nadine, Karlie, and I will actually all be in person doing an episode. So
In June. Wait,
we'll
when?
talk dates later, Nadine. We'll talk dates.
Okay. Okay.
I got you. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'll make a Google
Goodbye.
invite. All right. Love you guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.